Avoir. All right, welcome back to another episode of FitPet Boston Talks. My name is Leah Lodato, and I am the host of the show. I am blessed today to be joined by my spouse, Laurie.
That's something.
Hello.
That's something. That's blessed. Hashtag blessed.
Last episode I recorded by myself, which is
So sad.
about as much fun as it sounds. And I just wanted to thank you for sticking with the podcast. I know it's been a minute since we have been able to record, but we are back. We are here to chit-chat about what's been going on recently. And also, I wanted to give a couple of tips/announcements for those of you that are coming to the beginner clinic hosted by the Fetch Collective. That's happening on June 1st. It is a beginner clinic for introducing people to disc dog sports, so playing Frisbee with your dog. Really looking forward to that, and Melissa is going to be teaching the clinic up at Gemini Dog on June 1st. So, super excited. Wanted to make a few recommendations heading into the clinic so we don't have to waste time listening to anybody talk at the beginning. But before I do that, Laurie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good since we just went on a walk with our own dogs, which is
Nice.
a rare thing.
I know, and we did it twice.
Twice in 1 week.
We did it Sunday? Saturday?
Yeah.
Today.
Saturday or Sunday.
And then we did it today.
Yeah, super.
Great.
I know.
Great.
Despite being a dog walker, I do not walk my dogs every day.
I know, and I feel bad. I see other people getting my dogs out.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on tricks every day with Buddha
Mhm.
pretty religiously. But I got to tell you, at the end of the day, I'm trying to find my will to live. I mean, I'm just tired. I'm tired at the end of the day. So,
Right.
poor Buddha, he was like bringing me a ball yesterday. I was sitting answering emails and doing paperwork, tossing it for him. And I think he was racing away with it upstairs into the bedroom where you were up on the bed and then coming back down.
Yes, he was playing with himself. It was pretty cute and sad at the same time.
It was sad. Yeah. I was like, I'm sorry, buddy. But tricks, yeah, we're working on plenty of those.
Yes. I've been working with Raven every day on just training for obedience and stuff like that, and play Frisbee with the dogs, bring them out to play.
Leah's drowning
with
in
the
raw
league
food.
a couple of times per week. You needed to mention that I'm drowning in raw food. Tonight I
Right.
have my final task to do for the Feed Real Institute. There is a webinar that I have to attend, which should be pretty fun. We're preparing raw food for our dogs, I guess, so that they can see that we actually do prepare raw food for our dogs, which is pretty cool.
She does.
But I have a long list of questions to ask the instructor, so I'm pumped to be able to attend that workshop. However, not pumped that it's happening late at night, because anything that happens after 8, I'm like crying my eyes open.
It's a 7, right?
Yeah, it's like 7 to 9 or 10 or something like that.
7 to 10?
Yeah, I know.
You didn't tell me that. I thought it was 1 hour.
No.
I thought you were going to chef in front of the video camera, and she goes, great, you're certified. That's not what it is?
No.
Oh, Leah was the sweet, sweet sounds of chicken bones grinding this morning. It's a melody to me. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I got a sweet new grinder.
Yeah, Leah.
Super pumped for that.
Once I saw that puppy come in, I
Yep.
thought, the joy I felt inside. Did you give Pat her grinder back?
Yes, I did.
Oh, thank God.
I was loaned a grinder first before I decided to purchase one for myself, just to see how it all goes. And it went well. So the company that I purchased the grinder from is also really cool, because I called just to ask questions, and the woman was so informative.
Oh, what did
really
she
happy.
talk about with you? I mean, stunning.
No, she
stunning
just
material.
was like, hey, if you do this, it's going to break. This is what you should. I mean, it was great. Like, she
what's
knew.
the machine?
The machine is called, I believe, an STX Megaforce 4000.
Wow.
Is the name of the model of the grinder that I bought, and it grinds poultry bones. So my question to her was, will this grind turkey necks? And her answer was, no. If you do that, it will break and you have to send it back to us. Please don't do that. So I was grateful, because she told me what I could grind and what I can't.
They take it back?
Yeah, you can mail it back and they fix it and send it back to you.
Can you imagine getting a machine where there's just chicken bits in it?
Well, it doesn't work that way. That would be disgusting, but that's not how it works. So what happens is there is a motor inside of the grinder And all of the attachments are completely sealed off and separate from that motor. So when you put the attachment in, it's like putting a bolt into like it's completely separate from the motor. So what happens is if you put something in there that it can't process and you force it to do it, it grinds the gears actually inside the motor. So none of the attachments, you don't have to send any of those back if it quote unquote breaks, because it's the motor and the gears that actually malfunction if it breaks. So yes, they do take it back and fix it for you. I'm sure for a cost, but she saved me a huge headache because I was going to buy a case of turkey necks and I said, nah, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, that's a shame. I should give her a present. I should send her some cookies. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Tiffany.
I'm just surprised they didn't call it like the chicken grinder 3000, you know. It's like the super force, you know, or at least like, you know.
Well, the one
what
that
to do if you're in the mafia.
The one that Pat lent me, technically you can't grind bone through that grinder. I successfully did grind up chicken necks and it didn't grind the gears or anything like that, but it was not designed for that use. So not all meat grinders will tolerate grinding up bones, but I can't feed bones to Ruben because he
pukes it up every time. Yeah. And it's never when Leah's around, by the way. I just wanted to say that. It's never, and this is how much love I have for Leah, that it just, she's like, no, he didn't. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I cleaned up some chicken bone puke 3 times today, among the other tasks of my life. Poor Larry. I've accepted it, kind of.
Yeah, so anywho.
Leah's got the raw food.
We have that
the Frisbee.
Going on.
Hold on, I got it all lined up.
Okay.
The raw food, the certification, the Frisbee, and then what's the other thing that you've been doing? I forgot the other thing. It's another certification. Up dog.
Yes. I went through the up dog judging program. Finished that, waiting back to hear if I passed or not. And it was great. It was a great course, very informative, but the course happened after our Monday night toss and fetch league, and Monday is just a super busy day for me because I have a full day of walks. I hurry back to the house, shove some food in my mouth, and then load the dogs up to head out to Framingham to play with them, run the whole league with Melissa and Catherine, and then leave as soon as possible to get back for a Zoom lesson with Updog. So I did that for 4 weeks, which was, I again was like prying my eyes open. God
she was
bless.
dying. I would like see her from across the room and she'd just look at me. It was like she was in prison.
Well, and the sad part was like, I really loved the course. It was very informative. I learned a ton. It's hard because Updog has like tons of games and each game has different rules. And if you're judging, you have to know all of the rules inside and out. So it's just a ton of information to memorize, basically. So did that, took the test, waiting back to hear. Hopefully I'm not jinxing myself by talking about it prematurely, but the goal is to be able to host some Updog events out in Framingham this summer, which we are well on our way to being able to do that, and I'm very excited about it. So
that's why we haven't been podcasting.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then just dogs and classes and
yes,
more dogs.
Yes,
dogs with problems.
Dogs with problems.
Dogs with ear infections. Every single dog that walks in is an ear infection. Oh, did you notice? Yeah, it's not going away.
Yep.
Nail breaks.
Yeah. So
today was a crisp fall day. Let's talk about that.
I have a heating pad under my ass right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, got to warm up for that cooking class we have later.
May 21st, and I don't know if it got to 50 degrees today. When I woke up, it was 45.
I needed a woolly hat.
Yeah, it was chilly out, which was great because it was also a little bit rainy, and that keeps everybody inside.
That's right.
So people like me get excited because I'm like, okay, great. Less of a chance of running into somebody in the woods today.
I know, but I did a class at Horn Pond hoping to cross paths with dogs, and it was kind of empty on the main route. Yeah. Lady has a collie. I can't with the Lassie comments. Oh my God, I haven't seen a This is a Spanish woman. She walked up. I haven't seen a Lassie in so long. Do you know Lassie? We're like, yes, we know Lassie. Wherever we go, we're at Home Depot. Like I've been traveling the town with this lady and her dog. And That's the Lassie? Oh my God.
Well, didn't she previously have a Rottweiler? So she's like...
She is like... And she had an American Bulldog.
Traumatized. So she doesn't want the dog to be leash reactive or...
Well, she got the dog from a breeder who didn't want the dog anymore. Probably didn't reach standard or something like that. When I tell you this dog is a hairy potato, he is a hairy potato.
He's so cute.
And she had an American Bulldog, 2 Rottweilers. So she's very, her last dog was very reactive to other dogs. And she told me today, her husband said, I mean, are you done with training? What are you even training? And I got to tell you, it's kind of true.
Yeah.
This lady's in her older years now. Not super old. She just came off. I mean, she had several dogs, and especially one that was kind of traumatic for her because she couldn't really bring the dog around. I didn't know her then. I had met the dog when he was a puppy, but I thought there was going to be a training conflict with another trainer. So I was like, stay with that trainer. I like the dog a lot. And I feel like, I'd rather have dog than human dog aggression.
You mean dog human?
Dog, dog. It's like, I feel like I can deal with that. But if it was human and dog, it's just such a bitch,
Yeah.
If I had to pick, I don't think anyone is good, but.
Yeah. Dog reactivity. That's much more manageable for me too. I've actually had a couple of these examples, but I do e-collar training for off-leash reliability. And sometimes after the classes are done, I'll get a message that says, hey, dog's doing awesome off-leash. I'm having trouble in this other area. So this week I have another class with Diva, the Newfoundland, which I'm excited to work with.
Who's
Diva.
a beast.
She's hilarious and huge because she's been blowing up at dogs in the neighborhood. So we're going to meet up at the pond and try to address that issue. And she's the second or third dog now that has kind of like come back after months, if not years, and said, hey, can you keep helping me out? I'm having a problem here. So I like meeting back up with people, especially when there's behaviors that they're struggling with because, well, that's why we're here. And also because now we have an extra tool in our tool bag because the dog is e-collar trained.
Well, you fixed it. Because
Fixed what?
You fixed the problem.
Well, I haven't fixed it yet. I haven't met with
the
her.
recall.
Right, exactly.
So what happened was I had the dog in the beginning. Ooh, Diva's a study case. Diva, Newfie, she barely caused any problems when she was younger. She learned her sits and her downs, and her mother went to group class with me, and all was well. Having a problem with recall, I go to the house. I stress the importance of keeping the dog on a line till she's more reliable, going over the same stuff. She's getting through the fence, and now she's running down the street, and all the kids are freaking out, the kids in the house, because they're worried she's going to get hit by a car. Thank God you can see Diva coming. I mean, honest to God. She's like a 300-pounder with like high heels on. She is true to her name. Like
Yes.
She's like, go pound sand. I'm laying down in the sun. Back off, bitch.
Yeah,
like
so
that's who she is.
That was the biggest issue is like when she would lay down and just not want to come inside or do anything, there was just nothing that anybody could do to get her to move.
Right. And I had put her on a prong collar and she was fine on it. And she never fought it. Like you barely had to make a correction. She's like, fine. And everything Diva in her head is like, fine, bitch, I'll go. My God. Like, fine. And if you had a line on her and, slowly taking away food and things like that, the problem is the dog was never on the line. They could never follow through. And most of the time, Diva was on the deck sunning herself because why? Well, that's what Diva liked to do.
Yeah, she's a newfie.
So the owner hit me up and she says, hey, I'm having this problem. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Like, why? Because I didn't think she was going to follow through with me. So then she gets in touch with Leah. And I'm like, good, Leah, you deal with it. So now Leah puts on an e-collar. And now Diva comes whenever she needs to. But now she's just pissed off at everybody.
No, I don't think she's pissed off at everybody.
No, I mean...
Oh, in the neighborhood, you mean.
Now she's like, boo, to
Yeah.
another dog.
Yeah,
She's like,
basically.
what else can I do to piss her off?
Yeah. The owner did a really, really good job. It was a nice... Now we're like best friends. But yeah, I think
one of us has to be.
It's nice to continue training if you need it. And yeah, we're going to do that on Friday. I'm hoping I can get some footage of that video so that I can post that up. It should be useful for those that are struggling with a little bit of leash reactivity, which a lot of dogs do. Yeah. And hopefully at the pond, this nor'easter that's coming will blow through so that it's not a completely rainy mess on Friday.
I think this can just be Mets all weekend. Rain, no rain, rain, no rain. Yeah. I don't know the temperature, though.
Well, I got some disc stuff, too, on Friday. So hopefully no rain. Monday night when we played, it was so windy. I was just like ready to give up. And then we had some teams get personal best scores on Monday night. It was like wild. It was almost as if all the pressure was taken off and the expectations were so low. And everybody was just like, wow, whatever. It is what it is. And everybody did phenomenal. I was so psyched because Frisbee is a tough thing when it's windy because you might have a good form, good throw, etc. And the disc just goes wherever it wants because of the wind. And on Monday, we had gusts of wind between 30 and 35 miles an hour. And we had a really successful night. I was so proud of everybody. And also, I was proud of everybody for showing up because with the sport that we play in 5-week seasons, and you can miss one night if you want to. And because only 4 of your scores count toward the final score. The reason why people do go to all 5 is because if you go to all 5, your lowest score gets dropped. So it's kind of a way to have a bad week and still be able to recover. And even though pretty much all of our teams made it to all 4 weeks, everybody showed up for week 5. And they didn't have to. And that was awesome because it shows a lot of commitment and they did really well. So I was super psyched.
Well, from the outside, I'll say that your Frisbee group is very tight-knit.
They are.
You guys really love each other. You always cheer each other on. I love the videos. I watch from afar because a lot of times I'm taking care of dogs at night or during the day or all the time. And I really love like how people are truly, genuinely happy when dogs are like when a dog does something different. Like when Blitz caught the Frisbee and he did it with style and it was like a little spin in the air and it's like, you like this? Look at me. Look at me from this side. So I was like, this is really cool. Everybody's so supportive. And the dogs just soak it up. You know, a lot of the times you can't cheer to the end because if you throw the Frisbee and the dog goes to go get it and they come back, they're like feeding into the crowd. They're like, I look good, don't I? Woohoo! So, everyone holds it until the last one.
Well, Jackson went for it with his dog Fanta at the last throw, his very last throw. And he got his first 5.
Nice.
With Fanta. So if you score 5 points in toss and fetch, you threw the Frisbee over 40 yards and your dog caught it, which is really something. And he went for it. And he said before he threw, he's like, we're going to go for it. And he went for it and she caught it. And everybody just went wild. And Fanta just zigzagged across the whole field saying hi to everybody.
Yeah.
On her way back to Jackson. It was so cute. And Vanessa caught it on film. So that was great. We were able to share that. But it's super fun.
I got to tell you, though, the Frisbee thing, I don't think it's very fair if one of the teams, how does it go? So, like, there's so many teams in Massachusetts, right? And those are the teams you compete against.
No, not always.
Well, whoever you're
sometimes they have regional divisions. So for some seasons, usually in the fall, we will compete against other teams in our region. But normally throughout the year, we compete with teams that are kind of seeded similarly. So the sport will divide, and there are 176 club teams competing worldwide right now, which is like incredible. So those 176 club teams get broken down into 8 team groups. So we're in a group that it's labeled a division, and there are 8 club teams in our division. That's how it works.
I just think that if everyone needs to be outside or everyone needs to be inside, because it's not fair if some teams compete in the elements and then some dogs are inside. Like, how is that even fair?
It's not. But
you said that's the only, thing.
There aren't very many teams that compete indoors competitively because unless you're competing at an indoor soccer facility, there's just not enough room. So you need 50 yards in order to make a full field. And a lot of dog facilities are big, but they're not 50 yards long. 50 yards is freaking far. And when you're indoors, it seems way farther than when you're outdoors if you're just eyeballing it. So sometimes if a team competes indoors, what the league allows you to do is to take away the furthest zone. So you can play, but because you can't throw 40 yards, you can't collect 5 points. The highest number of points you can collect is 3. So sometimes the indoor teams will have lower scores simply because the points just aren't available because there's not space.
Oh.
If that makes sense.
Yes,
However, there's no getting around the wind. Inside, there's no wind.
Yeah.
And wind is a huge factor. And if you practice and you play in windy conditions, you're going to get good at throwing in windy conditions.
I mean, you should see how these Frisbees fly. They are on their route and then all of a sudden off to the right. Like gone. Just gone into the cornfield next door. It's crazy. Or they hover.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's cool to see it hovering in the air. You literally, when I watch all the videos, the dogs just seem to hover in the air right behind that Frisbee, and you get that cool shot with the mouth open just like a V, and the Frisbee just coming right at it. And I love it. I love that shot. And you guys get such nice pictures. I'm a picture fiend. I love a good picture.
Yeah. Disc dog sports make for wonderful photos.
Oh, the hair. Oh, the hair. Supermodel business. Yeah. Supermodel.
It's really fun. Okay, so that segues nicely into what I wanted to talk about for those coming to the beginner clinic.
Oh.
I don't know very much about supermodels.
Neither do I. Aren't you married to one?
Yeah, pretty much.
That was my perfect opportunity and I lost it. Girl, please.
Okay, if you're coming to the beginner clinic, a couple of tips that I wanted to give you. So tip number 1 is it is the archer, not the arrow. And what that means is it's the skill of the person that is shooting the bow that determines whether or not the arrow flies straight. And the reason why I'm giving this piece of advice is because when you start to get into playing disc dog sports, you realize that there are a plethora of different options for discs that you can purchase for play. So there are 2 main companies. There are others, but I'm just going to mention these 2. Hyperflight and Hero Disc, and they manufacture discs that are specific for dog play. So we don't want to be playing disc with our dogs using like a disc golf disc or an ultimate frisbee disc or a Dollar Tree disc. They're not safe for dogs. They might be too heavy. The rim might be too large and too hard. It might be made out of plastic that your dog is just going to bite straight through. That would be like a cheap frisbee that you might get in a grab bag after you run a 5K or something like that. And the discs that are specific for dog play are made out of a little different type of plastic, and they have different flight characteristics. So they're also a little bit lighter, which makes them a little bit less stable. But all that to say, once you find a disc that works for you and your dog, so once you find a disc that your dog is not going to poke holes through, stick to that disc. And if you're having problems, it is the archer, not the arrow. So one thing that I ran into getting started was if Ruben was having trouble catching or I was having trouble throwing, I would be like, I should try a new disc. Like there's probably something wrong with the disc that I'm using. That is not the case. It takes a ton of technique and skill and practice in order to be able to throw a disc accurately and for your dog to be able to catch it. And it takes time and repetitions for your dog to learn how to catch properly. So once again, if you have a hard biting dog, like Buddha, for example, you want to stick to a disc that he's not going to be able to bite through. And once you find that, just keep practicing. Keep asking questions if you have them. We can send you resources if you're having trouble throwing. We can send you resources and tips if your dog is having trouble catching. But it's the arrow, not the archer when it comes to disc. Get a disc, dog-specific disc, and don't look back. Once you get good, so once your dog is catching reliably, your throw is getting better, and you decide, I want to play toss and fetch. Okay, now we can look at the way that your dog catches and the speed of the disc and its glide and how quickly it falls out of the air. And maybe then we might want to tweak the type of disc that we're using. But I think for most people that are coming to the clinic, that might be a long way off. So in order to save yourself some money, stick to the same disc. Laurie can attest to this.
There's so many in the house. Honest to God. So many.
Yeah. That I don't use. So let's sell them. Yeah. I'm going to bring them to the clinic.
Just give them away.
Yeah, we'll use them for demo. If anyone wants to take them, they can.
Take them.
Yes.
Whoever's going.
Yes.
There's less in my garage then.
So that was the first thing that I wanted to mention. Second thing that I wanted to mention is when you start to play disc with your dog, your practice session should be opportunistic, which means you want to focus on that catch ratio. So the number of times you're throwing to the number of times your dog is actually catching the disc. So when I play disc with my dogs, it's not to exercise them. That's a nice byproduct. But if I play for too long and the dog drops the disc over and over and over again,
shame.
That's bad. Because if we're talking about collecting points in any of these cool games, the only way we can collect points is if the dog catches the disc with their face. So if we're practicing and our dog is bunking it off their nose, or they are batting it to the ground with their paws, or they're waiting for it to hit the ground before they go pick it up, this is bad. And sometimes if your dog is brand new and maybe they're having trouble understanding the concept, maybe you only get one catch in a practice session and you're like, all right, cool, I got a catch. I'm going to try again tomorrow. If you drive yourself all the way out to the field, bring a chuck-it stick, bring a ball on a rope, something that your dog doesn't need to catch in order to be successful. Maybe do a couple of throws with the disc, a couple rollers, and then switch to a different toy if you just want to get out there and exercise your dog, or maybe you want to work on obedience, or maybe you just want to walk around the field and let your dog enjoy nature. So be really opportunistic with your training sessions. When we play a round of disc, it is 1 minute long, which is not a long time. But if you're doing everything successfully, your dog is running full gas for that entire minute. And when we switch to the 90-second rounds in toss and fetch, our dogs are exhausted by the end of 90 seconds if they are running the entire time. So the goal is to collect points to be successful if you're playing disc. If you're just playing with your dog to exercise them, I would use a different type of toy and be opportunistic. Ask questions if you have them. You can send us training video if you come to the clinic and you're working outside of the clinic and you have some questions. We love answering them. And everybody that comes to the beginner clinic is invited to come to our toss and fetch practice on June 7th at no charge if you want to check out the field, meet some of the people on our toss and fetch team, and practice on a lined field with judging and just kind of see what it's all about. So we hope some of you plan to join us a week after the clinic. I think it should be really fun. So that's all I wanted to say about that for those coming to the clinic. I'm looking forward to it.
When
I know
is the
Melissa
date of that
is
again?
too. It's next Sunday, the 1st.
Sunday the 1st, yeah.
Yeah. And Melissa will be teaching. She's super fun, enthusiastic. Margarita is very talented. She's funny.
Margarita's kicking ass.
Yeah, she is. It's really cool to see.
Hmm.
Really cool. I love bringing new people into the sport. I think it's the funnest. And Melissa was brand new.
I played Frisbee with a dog today. I threw some rollers with a Kong flyer.
Yeah.
And I would have never done that. I had this obsession next to me with Frisbee. It's the archer, not the arrow. I mean, I hear it all the time. Guys, it's the archer. And I was like, you throw it like this. I mean, I don't know shit about Frisbee either. I'm like, Joe, you throw it like this. I love Joe. I've known him forever. He got what did he get? A pit, border collie, or Australian shepherd mix.
No, that's great.
This is a man who sits in a truck all day. I'm like, oh my God. She's so young and brilliant and talented, and she's so active. It's kind of like a nightmare match.
Wow. Well,
yeah, it's like if I married somebody who was like, oh my God, I love camping in a tent. I would just die. I couldn't even fake it in the beginning, till I nabbed them completely. So no, it's literally older people with young, exuberant, working dogs. Old people who don't like to exercise with working, exuberant dogs. It's me and a lesbian from Vermont who likes to camp and lay in the dirt. It just doesn't work out. It doesn't work out.
No.
Why are we doing this? Why? When the rescue looked at Joe, did they say, this guy needs a border collie mix. This is it. This is the one. This fella, he looks like he can handle this.
Well, she seemed pretty laid back when I met her.
No way.
Oh,
this
really?
chick is spicy.
Well, I hope he comes to Frisbee. It'll be fun.
Oh my God. To see this guy on a line throwing a Frisbee, I'd die. He's like, oh, my shoulder. Oh, my back. I'm like, oh, Lord.
It's fun. You never know. You
never know. He might do it.
It'd be fun.
I mean, he loves her. He loves her.
Yeah. So if you love your dog, do stuff with them that they like.
Oh, we'll see.
It's great.
Just there really needs to be a matching system, and you should not give these super hyperactive dogs to old people. I was like, why did you get a puppy? I said, why didn't you just get some old fat dog that wanted to lay around on a sofa? Well, I just wanted to try it out. I said, okay.
I think he'll do great.
Yeah, because I'm going to take the dog like every day.
Yeah.
There's no way the dog is going to survive without getting crazy activity every day.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take her every day.
It'll be great. Maybe you can take her on Mondays.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to take her.
Take her on Mondays.
Take her a lot because
and then
she
bring her to Frisbee.
Oh, yeah. I'll have my own Frisbee dog. I told him, I go, maybe I'll just take her and do Frisbee with her.
Yeah, totally.
Then I have to learn how to throw. Don't get rid of all the Frisbees at your clinic. Might friggin' need one.
Well, you've already started with rollers, so there you go.
I did.
And that's how we start with Frisbee, for all of you that don't know. We don't just immediately start throwing the disc in the air and expecting our dogs to catch it. Sometimes dogs will do that. Most of the time, they have to understand the concept first. So we throw rollers, which is when you roll the disc on its edge on the ground and the dog gets used to chasing after it and catching it with their mouth while it's moving. And they gain that confidence. I got some really good video of Lottie because she's never caught a Frisbee before, like a roller. And it was funny because like the first time I threw it, she was so skeptical. Like she ran after it and chased it. And then she was just nudging it with her nose a little bit and watched it fall to the ground. And I called her back to me. And then I had her just do a take out of my hand so that she could feel what it feels like on her mouth. And she got more confident. And then the second throw, she caught it in her mouth. But it was like the most hesitant take. She just didn't, she wasn't so sure of herself. And then in 5 minutes, she was full gas grabbing it. It was so fun.
Yeah. Lottie's an English Shepherd.
Yeah.
She's an English Shepherd and she has the nicest temperament. It's crazy because we got 2 English Shepherds at the same time, which really.
Who gets English Shepherds?
I
don't know.
Right. And
I'd never met one.
And one of them is Cuckoo Cuckoo.
Yeah.
and Lottie is just this, like such agreeable, easygoing. The other one is like, we should probably start fires every day. We should probably start forest fires. She's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that Lottie's a perfect match for her family. And they were shepherd people. They were German shepherd people before they got Lottie.
Yeah.
I see so many people who like had one difficult dog and then they're just so relieved that they get the next one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like no problem compared to the other. So I was just thinking about that, like matching with humans, and I've been thinking about that a lot.
I found Ruben's litter mate. I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah, this is a good story.
Yeah. So when we adopted Ruben, there were 3 puppies in his litter. And Ruben is 7. He weighs about 35-ish pounds. And he's a mix of some sort. He's like a beagle, min pin, something mix.
He looks like a min pin.
Yeah, he looks like a min pin without pointy ears. His ears flop over, but his coloring is like a min pin.
Sorry, he was the peanut butter litter at Schultz Guest House. I feel like I need to say that. Every dog was named after a peanut butter.
Yeah, and
he was Skippy.
Skippy, Jif, and I forgot the other one, Teddy.
Oh, yeah.
So
enough Teddies in the world.
I was wondering what happened to his other 2 litter mates. So I found the photos. I went way back to 2017 at Schultz Guest House in December, and I found a picture of us and Ruben and Ripa. And then after ours was a picture of this other couple that had got his litter mate. And we also met the litter mates as well, and we picked Ruben. I don't know why. I think he was a little bit better with
There were
Ripa.
2 of them, and one of them was in Ripa's face the whole time, and
Yeah.
Ruben just sat there and looked at her in reverence.
Yeah, so we said, okay, we'll take that one.
Yeah, nobody messes with Ripa.
So anyway, I found this woman and I sent her this like very nice message on Facebook and just said, hey, I hope this doesn't come too out of the blue, but I found you because you adopted our dog's brother. And I was just curious how he's doing.
He stalked her.
So at first she just sent me one line, and I won't share the dog's name, but she said, this dog is a dick.
So beautiful.
With like a bunch of laughing emojis. And I was just like, oh, okay. And It was funny. So we had a really nice back and forth about Ruben's brother. And it's just funny because I've often said or wondered how Ruben would be in a different house because he is a little bit spicy and we did a ton of training and socialization and Laurie raises puppies right. So we raised him right. But even still, like he has an edge to him. I call him like a feral dog. Like he is the dog that you want to look at if you want to study dog behavior when it comes to like dogs interacting with each other or dogs chasing after an animal or reacting to an environmental change or something like that. Like his signaling is very strong and he kind of just acts like a wild animal sometimes, I feel like. And it was just funny to go back and forth with this woman and she has a ton of dog experience. She's not a dog trainer and has managed the behaviors well, but
tons and tons of rescues she has.
Yeah, she's always had rescues.
Yeah.
But you know, she has to manage his behavior, and handling him is very difficult. And I think he guards things from the other dogs in the house. And I won't go into how extreme it is, but he has a very, very different life than Ruben has. That's for sure. So it was cool to reach out to her and get a little bit more information because you always wonder, you know.
Yeah,
like,
and it was a relief.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a relief because, you know, we did everything right, quote unquote, did everything right. And I said to Leah, I was like, if this dog, meaning Ruben, was in anybody else's house, he would have bit somebody by now. And I that's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. You know, Ruben can be around other dogs. I mean, he has his friends. Let's not kid. There are some dogs he doesn't prefer. Certainly doesn't like younger puppies. But he has his homies that he hangs out with. Same as Buddha. But he would definitely have been a complete ass.
Yeah.
If
he is an
if
ass.
we didn't, because
like,
we did so much work.
Generally
And we're
speaking, that's not a
Yeah.
that word accurately describes his personality.
But-
I love him to death, but
I do too. But you ask yourself, did I do enough? Did I do something wrong? Where did it take a turn? You know, we had neutered him. We didn't want to neuter him at all, but you know, it was a lot. I mean, when I tell you that Ruben would get out of the crate and just zone in on a dog and just hump the hell out. I mean, it was nonstop. And I said to Leah, Leah, if this was a dog, I said, if this was just a dog coming to me for daycare, I said, I would have booted this dog out long ago. And it really came down to that. I was like, we're like, is he a working dog? No, of course now he is a working dog. We got to get rid of them. Melissa remembers. I mean, we were just looking at each other during the day like, oh my God, this is when I worked with Melissa every day. So yeah, he would have been even worse. So yay us.
yeah.
Yay, we did a good job.
Yes.
He would have been terrible.
Yeah.
This is a dog you rode he's well behaved. It's just that he doesn't want everybody making out with him. And in today's world, everybody just makes out with their dog.
Right. And he's not a dog that I would take on group hikes either. I think that's another point that I should make. So I walk dogs. That's what I do for a living. I hike dogs every single day in the woods. I go on at least 2 hikes during the week.
You wouldn't bring him with Olive?
I can bring him with like Olive, but the point that I'm going to make is he gets out of the car and he's like on fire. Like he wants to run. Like we took him on a hike with our 3 today. He was way out front. He's zigzagging, he's hunting, he's chasing things, he's having the time of his life. But for me as a dog walker, I need to be able to see the dogs. I need them to be closer to me. We're basically in the city, so any woods we go to are urban woods. So there's people around. And if Ruben were my client, I would not hike him, despite the fact that he's completely trained, because he just goes too freaking far away. He's like constantly at pushing that edge of like, I can see you. Now I can't. I can see you. Now I can't. So I feel comfortable hiking him with our own dogs. Olive would be great. With Raven, he's just fine. But when he's also alone, so if it's just me and him, he stays much closer to me than if there are other dogs. So I don't know if there's like a competitive edge that he feels.
He always wants to be in the front with other dogs.
Right, with other dogs. But even though he's trained, he comes every single time I call him. And when I say comes, it's like he just got shot out of a cannon when he's coming back to me. He's trained, but his pack drive is a little bit low for me to feel comfortable like hiking him with a group. And I took him on group hikes with me in the beginning. Like he used to come with me when I was walking dogs. And he's just an interesting little guy. And he always tells you when there's somebody around. Before you can see him, he's looking around. He starts crying a little bit. Okay, something's going on, or there's an animal, or somebody's around, which is actually kind of nice. But yeah, even though he's my own dog and I love him to death, and I'm a dog walker, he would be a tough sell for a group hike. And I had a group of all labs today, so my last walk of the day was 4 Labradors. And they're just like seals, like swimming around you. Like they just stay so close to you. It's crazy. They have an opportunity to go far. They don't. They just stay. I'm practically tripping over them. You know, it's the easiest thing ever. I got back from the hike and I was like, I wish I could have this group like every day. And that was my job because they were just easy. It was so easy. Yeah.
But even today, I'm like, buddy, nobody wants to get further than you. Calm down.
It's like a competition.
Yeah. Nobody cares. Buddha's not running. He's not running ahead trying to like beat Ruben to it, but Ruben always has to be in the front. He always has something to prove and always keeping it together. Yep. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Buddha's just by the side.
Yep. Raven too. She stays really close.
Yeah, she always checks in.
And another dog could be like in front of her. She wouldn't even care or notice.
Raven doesn't care about dogs.
If she was on a scent, the other day I brought Rennie and Raven to the woods. We did a class in context. And there was this guy with a French bulldog, and he was walking towards us. So I was focused on Rennie. So I said, okay, pick up his line. Let's walk over to the side. And I just figured Raven was like with me, but she wasn't. She had her nose down like on the trail. Not kidding. This guy got as far away from me as I am to you. His dog is barking. She didn't even pick her head up. Yeah. And I'm like, Raven, come over here. And she's like, okay, coming. I was like, this dog.
There's too much hubbub around here for her to be bothered by something like that.
No.
Do you ever hear that word? Hubbub?
I do now.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Not too many people say it. But they're so used to a bunch of junk going on.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just interesting how different their personalities are. It's funny. Raven is a scenting dog. I think I need to do some shed hunting with her because I do think that she would be good at that type of thing. She has a really powerful sniffer.
Let's wait till we get the certification for the up dog and the raw food.
Yeah, all right.
Then can you imagine she's bringing home antlers every day, guys? And then in between grinding the chicken bones, she's upstairs sawing apart some antlers.
Well, I found a shed antler. I don't know if I said that on the podcast either. In all the years I've been hiking, in February, I found a shed antler. I was in the woods, but not deep in the woods or anything like that. And I had Stanley and Olive with me. Stanley's a golden retriever. Olive's a lab. And Stanley just sat down. And I go, Stanley, get over here. And he wasn't coming. And I was like, that's weird. And then I looked down and I saw it on the ground. And I didn't know what it was because it looked fake. It looked like a piece of plastic because it's so white. And so I walk over and I was like, are you kidding me? It was this huge antler. And he just looked down at it, Olive picked it up, started walking around with it. And I've never, in all my years, found a shed antler in the woods.
Neither have I.
But I also haven't been looking for them. So I think that might be another point to make. Now I'm obsessed with it, even though I know that they've all probably been picked up by now. But yeah, that was
just
fun.
a marvel.
Yeah.
It's a marvel.
I did not chop it up yet because I think I might want to use it for training. But
oh, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
I was wondering why I was going to mount it on the wall.
That's what Rosa wanted to do.
Next to the bear head.
She was like, you're going to cut that up? No, it's so beautiful.
Oh, my God. My mother, she's like 3 sheets to the wind. I don't know what's going on.
Anyway.
She was giving a kid she watches ice cream at 9:50 in the morning.
Yeah,
today.
Why not? YOLO.
Okay.
I know, probably not good for the pre-diabetes, but
she's not going to YOLO it when I go to her next doctor's appointment with her. Oh, the doctor said I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, pre-diabetic. I told him I could totally fix my diet. No pills. Those pills kill you. I'm like, well, you look like you're killing yourself right now. The little ice cream and Italian sub extravaganzas.
I know. It's tough. Being in an Italian household, the food is endless.
We don't even come upstairs and eat their food.
You can't.
Yeah. One of my customers, I'm like, no, it would be 800 pounds if we ate upstairs every night.
It's true.
She's like, like, for example, this cake has no sugar in it. No sugar, just honey. Just honey. And some icing on the top. No sugar.
Is there sugar in the icing? Well, yeah, but very thin.
Very thin. Very thin. You use water to mix it. Okay.
I love the rationale. It's funny.
It's funny. Haha.
Anywho, well, I think that's
It's all for today.
all for today. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. If you would be so kind, feel free to like, subscribe, and share the podcast with your friends. Leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify. It's so easy. Just hit the 5-star rating and review. And if you have any topics for us, you can send them our way. Thanks for sticking with us despite our absence.
Yeah, give us topics.
Yeah, topics are good.
Somebody.
Hopefully we'll have a guest on. Was supposed to do an interview last week. Didn't work out, but that's okay. I'm used to it.
Oh no. Wah, wah.
It's hard. It's tough to coordinate.
I read like a fellow dog trainers, I'm not going to say who, on Facebook. Oh my God, I love, not this podcast. Oh my God, I love this podcast. It's so educational. And then I was like, ooh.
You're like, nope.
They definitely don't say that about us. Nope.
But I hear something's educational. Like, I appreciate that. And I feel like we have a little taste of that sometimes. Like, I do book reviews and stuff like that. But if I'm listening to something educational and I tune out for a second and I try to catch back up, not going to happen. Whereas if I'm just listening to people talk, it's
you
so
hanging
much
in
easier
there
to follow. Yeah.
Just share it and be like, oh, these two. What a dream. What a dream.
The brains behind this team.
Oh my God. And you know what? They don't put it out there because they don't want anyone intimidated.
Yeah.
You know, they hold back. That's can tell.
Exactly why we do not talk about operant conditioning and learning theory.
Yes.
And, all
Yes.
of that stuff, positive punishment. We
don't
hold back. Make anybody feel bad.
Uncomfortable.
Here on the show.
That's right.
Because you just can't take yourself too seriously.
Nope.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. See you next time.